mechanism of action of loop diuretics. The activity of the sodium-potassium ATPase in the basolateral membrane provides energy for capture of sodium from the lumen via the sodium-potassium 2-chloride symport. The downhill transport of sodium via the symport provides energy for uphill transport of chloride and potassium. The potassium is then recycled into the lumen via the luminal potassium channels, and the chloride is absorbed into the interstitial space via the basolateral chloride channels. The equilibrium potential of the apical membrane is determined by potassium because it has a large conductive pathway in the apical membrane, whereas the equilibrium potential of the basolateral membrane is determined by chloride. The movement of a positively charged potassium ion from the luminal cell into the lumen makes the apical membrane hyperpolarized and the lumen becomes positively charged. The movement of negatively charged chloride into the interstitial space makes the basolateral membrane depolarized and the interstitial space becomes negatively charged. You can note that there is a potential difference of 10 millivolts between the apical membrane and the basolateral membrane. That is, the basolateral membrane is less negative compared to that of the apical membrane. The positively charged ions like calcium and magnesium are repelled in the lumen because of the positive charge in the lumen, and this calcium and magnesium are absorbed into the interstitial space via paracellular pathway. The loop diuretics enter into the lumen via the organic anion transporter. It binds to the chloride binding domain and inhibits the sodium-potassium 2-chloride sympporter, thus inhibiting absorption of sodium and chloride. Sodium and chloride is lost in the urine because of inhibition of sodium-potassium 2-chloride sympporter. Calcium and magnesium absorption is also affected. There is loss of potassium and titratable acid in the urine, resulting in hypokalemic alkalosis. This is because of enhanced delivery of sodium to the distal tubule, resulting in excess loss of potassium and titratable acid. Furosemide has weak carbonic anhydrase inhibitory property, that's why bicarbonate and phosphates are lost, and also the corticomedullary osmotic gradient is abolished. Furosemide is used in the management of pulmonary edema because it causes venodilatation and decreases left ventricular filling pressure. Probably this mechanism is mediated via prostaglandins. It can be used in all cases of edema. It is used in the management of hypertension, which are resistant to first-line antihypertensive therapy. It is used in blood transfusion in severely anemic and can be used in cases of poisoning for forced diuresis. Furosemide can cause electrolyte imbalances like hyponatremia and hypokalemia, metabolic abnormalities like glucose intolerance and dyslipidemia, can cause ototoxicity and allergic skin reactions. Furosemide is a high-ceiling diuretic. They act in the thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle. They can be used in the management of pulmonary edema. They cause electrolyte imbalance, metabolic disturbances, and can cause ototoxicity.